What's up everyone, we're back. Sorry it's been a few days in between uploads, but I've just had a heap of stuff going on, plus work and whatnot. Today we've got a pretty cool little video I'm going to make for you. I'm going to be servicing the RBM3, so pretty much just draining all the fluids and yeah, showing you guys what oil I use, what grade of oil, how much it uses, so on and so forth. A lot of you guys have asked for like a full info rundown on the car, so I'm going to do that as well and pretty much show you why the thing holds together with 30 pounds of boost in it at 10,000 RPM. Like, it is ridiculous. On that note of ridiculousness, we got a parcel today. Some of you guys were right about this, so okay, let's open this up, shall we? Just gotta let Cheetah know that it's here. One moment, sorry. Okay. I want you guys to see this. Okay. What do we got here? Oh yeah. I've needed this for a very long time. It's a speed sensor for the turbo. I'll explain more of that later. This here is, so we got the block off for the blow off valve. It's a full race blocker, I think that's what it is, yeah. And then you can run a boost line out of the guts of it, so that's actually a pretty cool little feature. We're going to be running that. And for the exhaust flange, if we need to change that, which we probably will. Ready? Look at this big stonker. Freaking size of my head. Oh, god damn. Alright guys. Here it is. The new 9174 with a 1.05 rear housing on it. Just gonna put that away before I drop. Okay, now a very important point I need to let you guys know. I actually got this turbo from Full Race in the USA. Now, reason being was I had to get the supercore, the iron supercore. They do a new aluminium one, and we didn't want that because we're going to be doing obviously anti-lag and ridiculous amounts of boost. We went for the iron core in hope that it's going to be stronger and handle the abuse better. I think that should work in our favor. So massive thanks to Full Race. They actually got it here quicker than any Australian distributor could have got it to us. So huge thanks guys, and it was a really good price. So if you guys need anything, I highly recommend going to Full Race. They also do ridiculously good manifolds as well, which I wanted, but I didn't have the money at the time. So now, the speed sensor. I want to tell you guys why we got this. Mainly just to stop what happened to the Precision. That obviously overspun, caused a bit of damage, and it also created a ridiculous amount of intake temps. Not into the engine, like at the turbo side, because we got sensors on both sides, but we'll go into that as well later. Okay, good news is now we got the turbo. I'm gonna be heading to Sydney very soon, and as in like this weekend coming up. So I'm gonna take everything I got, get the cheers, we'll start modifying the manifold, or whatever we need to modify to get this turbo on. We'll tune it up there. We got to hire out a hub dyno from someone near Cheers in Sydney, and then we're going to be going testing. Location is not known just yet because our normal place is booked out, so yeah, we've got to figure out what we're going to do there. But good news is, before we do anything, I'm going to get to Sydney as soon as I can, like this weekend, once I finish work for the week, and we're going to start testing a few little goodies. So this weekend's videos are going to be pretty wild. Alright, I'm going to pack that turbo up. I was like a little kid just ripping everything to bits. I think it's time to get stuck in the RBM3. So the last time I worked on the RBM3, I actually did a compression test and a leak down test just to make sure everything was sweet after the Adelaide 500 demos. Yeah, like I didn't do anything crazy or whatever, but it copped a freaking hammering. So it was just good to check everything's sweet. In saying that, we're going to explain why everything is sweet. I don't really know if I'm going to do this in the right order, but I'll do my best. So for everyone out there asking, if you do have any further questions, just chuck them in the comments and I'll try and respond as quick as I can. So from the front to the back, I'll try and explain why this thing runs so freaking well. So with the engine, okay, let's start with the engine. RB26 with a full Tomei bottom end. So that's a 2.8 litre Tomei crank, Tomei rods and Tomei pistons with the titanium rings. PowerTune always say you have to use the titanium rings. For whatever reason, I don't know. That's what they do. So when I built this engine in collaboration with them, I literally just bought all the parts that they told me to buy and then they built it. The head, I can't really tell you too much about it, but it is a shimless bucket system, which is all in-house from PowerTune. In a nutshell, it's good for well over 10,000 RPM. The oiling system on this is a dry sump. It's a Barnes dry sump pump. It's a 4-stage pump that was actually supplied by High Octane Direct or High Octane Racing. That comes with a pan as well. The pan has been modified quite a lot. And then the tank for that is in the boot. It holds roughly completely dry with the filter off, everything. It holds about 10, 11 litres, I reckon. We'll find out exactly today because I'll drain it, but everything's still got oil in it. Like the lines that go all the way through from the back to the front. There's oil everywhere, you can't get it all out. So today it will probably only take about 9 litres. While we're on oil, we'll discuss the water side. So it just runs a N1 water pump at the front. And then I actually have electric water pump in the boot just so we can get the flow there, that's all. And then a Fenix Radiator. I think this is out of a Pajero. It's freaking gigantic. PowerTune put this extra tank on the side so we've got the highest point to fill it up from. And then that's just got dash 16 fittings that go down the front. And we have 2 fans sucking out, trying to get the air down underneath the car. This is a factory hole that comes in the E92 M3s. And then all the air is sucked in through the top here. So the idea is for it to come over the roof, down the radiator, and then through the back. There's quite a lot of turbulence at the back here, so it doesn't work super great at high speeds, but it does work. The fuel system is currently an AI 1200 system, so it has 3 fuel pumps. So I've still got the factory fuel tank, the M3 fuel tank. And there's a lift pump in there with some crazy ass gravity fed system that goes from one side to the other. I don't know, BMW obviously know how that works, but we just put it in how we got it and it seems to be working. That obviously lifts the fuel into the surge tank here. The surge tank has 3 pumps pumping it down into twin fuel rails here that run 12 injectors. They're all 1000cc injectors. It actually sucks a hell of a lot of juice. Not gonna lie, one set of tyres is probably like 20 litres, which is pretty crazy. I think I worked it out Adelaide 500, I was using 18 litres for that one lap. That is insane. Okay, on to induction side of it. I'm obviously using a precision turbo right now. That goes down in through a Hypertune 100mm thick core and then into a Hypertune single throttle body V2 kit from Hypertune. Now, we've actually put an electronic throttle on this, and reason for that is I didn't have much faith in it, but the throttle response on it is phenomenal. It is better than a cable. I don't know how that's possible, but it is. And we're also going to be running anti-lag through that, but I'll explain that when we actually put the anti-lag on. I have a RHS alternator. They're 150 amp, and it's probably one of the best things I've ever done because we need that to run all the electronics on this thing. We've also got a Fenix oil cooler at the front here with a little, I think it's like an 8-inch fan. So it actually cools the oil down phenomenally. So yeah, we obviously got the oil cooler fan. We've got 2 fans in the boot. We've got 3 fuel pumps. The full Motec. Okay, so it runs an M150 Motec ECU. I run the C127-. We actually integrated a race pack smart wire system. So had I have known this from the start that I was going to be going Motec, I would have just got a PDM. So when we didn't end up using the Howtech stuff, I went and bought, I actually sold the gearbox out to Somvia, the GSR box. I sold it to Rob Arbolino over in Sydney, and then I used that money to go and buy all the Motec stuff. So I had the race pack stuff, the smart wire system there, and Justin, the guy from ProWire, who actually wired the car up, he said he can integrate the smart wire with the Motec. So yeah, that's what we ended up doing, and it worked out pretty good. What I need to tell you now is Chia, the owner of Power Tune, who tunes this car, has done a phenomenal job. Like, okay, let's do a quick rundown. With the Motec, there's a pretty limitless amount of sensors you can put. Actually, no, I think it's like 40 sensors you can put on that ECU. So I have EGTs on each cylinder. I have fuel temperature on the front, or on this rail, and then also in the tank, air temperatures. So we have one here, we have one on the hot side of the intercooler, we have a pressure sensor, and then on the cold side we have the same. We have temperature and pressure again, so we can basically figure out how much cooling and how efficient this intercooler is. That's actually been super helpful. It doesn't stop there. We have, oh god, I can't remember, I should write them on here. It's like oil temp, oil pressure, fuel pressure, and then maybe, oh, I can't even remember the sensors there. There's pressure sensors on the cooling system, there's temperature sensors on the cooling system at the front, at the back, lambda sensor on the back of the turbo there. We run R35 GDR coil packs now. They are freaking awesome. Oh, we actually have an air temp sensor in the box back here, so I can tell how cool the air is that's actually going into the radiator. That's so we can tell if the radiator is actually working. Temperature sensor on the oil back here as well. We have flex fuel under here, so it tells us how much ethanol is in the E85. We also have a diff and a gearbox temperature sensor. We have back pressure sensor. I think that's pretty much it. So the reason why we have all these sensors is not so I can watch them, but it's so Chia can control the computer to change if we reach a certain temperature on things. And honestly, we've had a few things that have brought the limiter on, but that's purely because I just keep going and something gets too hot. And if those limiters weren't in place, that engine wouldn't be still perfect. So it's pretty much me saying how beneficial not only Chia is as a tuner, but also the software he's using, which is Motec. Now, I'm not sponsored by Motec. I just know how freaking good their products are, but they are super expensive. And if you can't afford to get a Motec, honestly, the next best thing is a Link. The new Link stuff is just ridiculous. I don't have any Link stuff. I'm not sponsored by them, but I've just seen what Chia's been able to do with Links. Same with Garage 7, and they're like dominating all around the world at the moment. So if you need a cheap, extremely good ECU, Link's the way to go. But if you can afford a Motec, I highly recommend it. 100% would have missed a lot just in that area. I know I would have. It does remind me that I need to put all this stuff back. So I've obviously got the dry sump system done. I've got, yeah, I was obviously cranking the engine by hand to do the leak down test. I've got to put all that back in. Behind the engine, we have a clutch. That clutch is a direct clutch. It's just a twin plate off the shelf clutch for an RB. There's nothing special about it. Obviously it comes with a flywheel. I'm not sponsored by them. Yeah, just letting you know what it's running. Then it goes into a sequential transmission, which is a HGT. That is a 5-speed transmission. And then we go down to a custom 2-piece tail shaft, which goes down into a Winters quick change diff. I'll show you a little bit more about that after, because there's actually 2 compartments in it for changing oils. You've obviously got the gear sets in the back, and then you've got the main diff center in the center. Pretty much it mechanically. I'm using a BGB drift handbrake. It's actually the first time I've gone to like the pool setup, and it's pretty cool, I must admit. Now I've got the Bello Seats. These are freaking sick. You can get custom logos put in them, so I had DriftSquid put in there. Then there's a Helps roll cage in here. Willwood pedal box down there. Sorry if it's really dark, guys, but... And then all the lines, brake lines, everything is braided throughout the whole car. I think that's it. Oh, suspension. So we run Wisefab, obviously, but we may be changing very soon. Pretty excited about that. Got a pretty cool company, maybe looking to use us as a bit of a test bunny, but we'll see. Oh, and one thing I just need to show you guys. These clamps, they're Plasma Man clamps. So this looks like it's not on properly, right? But it's actually done up and it is working. It's perfect. These will never pop off. They are like the ultimate thing ever for high boosted applications. All the guys that are popping cooler hoses off, like I did in the Somvia when I went to Queensland, it's the most annoyingest thing ever. Especially in competition, you pop a cooler hose, you're going home. No one wants that. So these V-band clamps, they're worth every freaking cent. They are a little bit expensive, but you're never gonna ever pop a hose off. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've got a lot of work to do, so I'm kind of rushing this. So feel free to, yeah, just ask me whatever and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Let's change some oil. So I actually have my oil tank in the boot here, as I've shown you before, and just a little Allen key drain plug. Let that drain for a bit. Just going to show you guys what I'm using now. It's a 550 Newlon racing oil. It's actually like a new product they've only just brought out, and it is very interesting. It doesn't have that crazy high oil pressure on startup, and yeah, it's freaking good oil. So yeah, depending the weather, use a 5W50, and I've also been using a 1060. So yeah, each their own. I used to use 2050 Royal Purple stuff, which was really good as well. I've still got some here. So yeah, this is what I used to use. And not gonna lie, it's pretty insane stuff. So today we're going to be putting the Newlon in. Okay, so now what I do is I've got the oil out of the tank in the car. I just got to measure exactly how much come in, and then it's pretty simple. You just put the exact same amount back in. So I just pour it back into empty tubs. This is used oil and it's already got 3 litres in it. So I'll just top that one up. And you must always dispose of your oil correctly. So it took about 7.5, 8 litres. I thought I would have got more out of that, but because I've jacked it up like this with the rear high and the front low, most of the oil is probably going forward. So I'm just going to jack the front up and then get the rest out. As you can see now, the RBM3 is the other way. Managed to get about almost another litre out. So that's good. I'll top that back up after. What I'm going to do now is the gearbox. Now, surprisingly, these pretty much all these new gearboxes only hold like 900 mil of oil. It's freaking insane. I know you're meant to be running an oil cooler, but with drifting, you don't need that. HGT will just drain the plug on that one and get the 900 mil out. Worst thing about the gearbox oil change is I've only got a little hand pump and it takes friggin' ages to fill up. Before we go underneath the car, I just want to let you guys know this is the oil that I use for the HGT. This is recommended by HGT, so obviously I'm going to use it. It's just 75-140 gear oil. Nothing too crazy, but this is a little bit expensive, just like anything Motor will make, but it's worth it. It yeah, works a treat. On the Somvia, I actually use a Penrite. It's an 80W140. I think it's called Pro Gear. I don't have any on the shelf up there. And that's what is recommended for G-Force from G-Force himself. So, let's get to it. This is by far the worst bit. How's that for freaking timing? I'm just running out to try to let most of it drain out because otherwise it's going to go into your gearbox overflow, and nobody wants that. Just check all these bolts while I'm under here. I'll just nip that up. So that's the gearbox done. Now we go to the back to the diff. Sorry guys, I'm gonna get to that diff in a minute, but Hoonigan's just dropped the vid. It's the episode where they got the Formula Drift drivers doing the man line challenge. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, little plug to Hoonigan's. If you guys aren't following their channel, I highly suggest you do. It's freaking awesome.
Ryan Literal, what are you driving this week? RB powered S14 and 3 DWC.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is move these lines out the way. This is a water and oil line. I'm sorry guys, but you're in the way. So now I've got to take this off, and it's a little bit hard with you guys down here watching while I do it. I'll try and... Is that better? Maybe. Inside 6. Sorry guys, I keep smashing this camera under there, so you're gonna have to wait out here while I get it done. So as you can see here, my bash bar gets a lot of use. Look at it. It's all sideways bashing too. It's actually been bottoming out on the bottom of the winters as well, and it's slightly deformed the back cover. That is a real bummer because it makes it really hard to get that back plate off. Let's drain it. Whew. Just had an amazing dinner thanks to Bree. Okay, so now while we were gone, I had the diff draining, and yeah, that's all drained. The center bit's drained. Okay, so what I need to explain now, what some of you may know and some of you may not know, on a Winters there's 2 compartments. So this back section has obviously got 2 gears in it. We'll open that up in a sec. That holds about 500 ml of oil. That's purely for those 2 gears, that's it. Now the diff at the front here holds about 3 litres, I think? 2.5, I can't remember. We'll find out in a minute. And that is separate to this. Okay, so now I'm going to be filling the diff up, and this is what I'm currently using. It's 85-140 Royal Purple Max Gear Oil. And so far it's been working really good. I change it just about every meet though. As you are about to see, this is a little bit of a pain with how high I've currently got the car. You just see where I'm filling it up, guys? Bottle number 2. Bottle number 3. Should be getting close to full now. Oh, there we go. It's got a rubber O-ring on it, so just give it a little nip up, nothing too crazy. Oh, sorry guys. Have a little look around while you're down here. A few things I need to clean up. Alright guys, now we're doing the back plate. It should be a 916, yep. Leave one on there and then chuck your drain underneath it, because there's actually no drain plug on these. So once you pull that cover, 500 ml of oil, we're just going to drop out. And look at that. All the oil will come out the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. Yay! Alright, so this cover actually has the bearings in it. And then there are obviously your gears. So if I wanted to, I could swap those around to change your gear ratio. Once that drains out, I'll just chuck the cover back on, because I'm not changing the ratio. I've never had to actually. Having 10,000 RPM and 5 gears, you've kind of got enough variance already, you know. So this is my breather for this section, and I'd simply just disconnect that and fill in there. And all I do is put 500 ml in, because that's all they say you should put in there. And I'll put that breather back on and you're done. So I'll do that quickly. I think I might have discovered something new. When I drain the back section, there's like a little bit leaking down into it. I don't know if that's from the front section or not, but yeah, it just kept coming real slowly. So please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. but is both compartments connected just with like some sort of small hole? I'm going to recheck the front again to make sure the level's all good, but I put 500mm in the back section and it's overflowing out the breather. So I don't know, I swear it's never done this before. It's the way I've always done it, never had a problem. But yeah, cover's back on, as you can see. I'm now going to put the mash bar back under there, but I'm just going to clean it up a bit with the file so it's not so damn sharp. So that's all the oil changes that I pretty much do in between events. And then, yeah, it's obviously a full spanner check, go over everything, do a wheel alignment if I've got time. It's usually pretty good, but it's always good to double check. Now I'll just drain the oil catch can, because I usually try and put an extra 500ml to a litre extra in the dry sump system, and then it just spits that extra out that it doesn't want. It's always good to know that your level's dead perfect anyway. I'm just going to finish now by putting the engine all back together, all the parts I pulled apart, get it ready so I can just hit that key and start it. Obviously can't do that tonight because I know it's only like 9:30, but the neighbours will lose their crap if I started it right now. So yeah, that's pretty much a wrap, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Something a little bit different. I know a few of you guys were asking for it, so did it for you guys. But anyway, hit the thumbs up if you liked it. Alright guys, thanks heaps for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.